awesome AYCCG students. I am sending you a recording of the content that we were supposed to go over last week, which was the 25th through the 28th. But your teachers were in testing with end of grade testing, and I am just now getting around to giving you this actual PowerPoint. So, so we will go over the content for this, and then there's going to be a bonus quiz at the end. So you might want to be sure you stick around and pay attention to get the information for that quiz. All right, and I have a few announcements, and these are the same announcements we've had for the past several weeks. Looking for a Job Part 1 was due on the 10th, and those were your 10 informational interview questions. Part 2 of the 6.01 graded assignment was due on Monday the 17th. And by this point you should have conducted your interview and written your report. And the applying for a job was due last week, Monday on the 24th. And then I also wanted to let everyone know, I know I have some seniors in here, so all of you who are seniors, your final exam, which is IA6, which is also the final exam, it opens this Friday on May the 5th. And I will be sending out kind of a study guide for that too as well. So there's that. If you are if you are behind on any of these assignments, that's okay. That's kind of why I've slowed down on assignments being due in the past several weeks. I want to make sure you guys have plenty of time to get caught up on those assignments. And so that's okay. Once again, we don't really count anything late until it's, really late. All right, so there's some objectives for the 6.10 lesson that we're about to go over called Going to Work. You're going to identify key differences between the life and duties of a student and the life and duties of a person in the workforce. And you're going to identify key elements of personal responsibility in daily life as an adult in the workforce. Okay, so first off, entering the workforce. When someone offers you a job, does it necessarily mean you should accept it? Not necessarily. There are so many things to consider. First, examine the offer carefully to see if it matches what you need in the job posting and what you were told in the interview. I have twice been offered a job on the spot during an interview, and it looks better too if you're not so eager to yeah, sure, I'll take it. But, say, can I get a couple of days to think about that and weigh your options. So, yeah, if you have a couple of jobs that you're interested in, you may want to wait a little bit and, tell them, a couple of days. Does it spell out your duties and responsibilities in sufficient detail so you know exactly what you're doing and whom you'll report? What about the hours and salary? Are they what you expected? Can you live with the offer as it stands? It's important to be comfortable with all these aspects before you accept the offer. So you want to make sure that the salary is what you want it to be, that the hours are what you want it to be, and, is this the job you want? And if not, you might want to ask a few more questions or wait a couple days to accept it. If you're offered a job, it's perfectly okay to ask for a day or two, but no more, to think about it. So can I give you until, like today's Wednesday, can I give you until Friday, and I'll let you know. Some points will be negotiable. If you have deep reservations about anything, speak to the person who made the offer. So if you have any questions about anything, or if the salary is not really what you want it to be, you could probably speak to that person and they might be able to help you out with that. Explain politely and clearly why you are hesitant to accept it. When you receive an answer, then decide, take it or leave it. If you decide not to take the job, be straightforward and courteous. Let the company know you really appreciate the offer, but you've decided to pursue other options. It is polite and is good, whether you want the job or not. You need to contact them. You don't just leave them hanging. If you do accept the job offer, there are things you can do to help you have a great first day on the job. You may not know anyone there, and you may be nervous about what to expect and what's expected from you. You may feel a bit overwhelmed. How do you handle your first day? My first day on any job, I am super nervous, so it's this reasonable thing to be. One of the most important things you can do in beginning your job is to listen and look. Pay close attention to what your boss and your coworkers have to say. Take notes if you want. Observe everything around you. How are the employees dressed? Is it better for you to be overdressed on your first day than to look too casual? Oh, I'm sorry. That's not a question. It's better for you to be overdressed on your first day than to look too casual. Try to understand how the organization works, how people interact, and how they collaborate. Learn as much as possible from your supervisor and coworkers about your duties and obligations. I've worked some places where I've been actually told that we're casual. It's okay if you wear jeans. On that first day, I don't wear jeans just to be on the safe side, because it's better to. Sorry, I've gone ahead too many slides. Sorry. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So you want to, kind of check that out too. Try to understand how the organization works, how people interact, and how they collaborate. Learn as much as you can from your supervisors and coworkers about your duties and obligations. Okay, so you also need to know your rights and responsibilities. So, employees have certain legal protections in the workplace. Some are designed for the safety of the employees, to prevent injury, to prevent injuries on the job. Others are meant to ensure equal treatment of workers and prevent discrimination. The two federal agencies responsible for making and enforcing these rules are the Occupational Safety and Health Administration and the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. Your employer may give you the information of one or both of these agencies. You can find more information on workplace regulations in the optional activity at the end of this lesson. If some aspect of your job wasn't fully explained when you first started, ask a question sooner rather than later instead of wondering. So it's better to ask questions than to just kind of sit back and not ask questions. Make sure you're clear about your hours per week, overtime if applicable, sick leave, chain of command, performance reviews, and anything else. So you want to know about your, if you get overtime payment, make sure you're clear about what hours you're there to work, and if you have any sick leave and things like that. Working with others. One of the great things about becoming part of a working world is that it broadens your horizons. You will likely meet and work with people from a wide range of social, economic, and ethical backgrounds. I was actually telling someone the other day that I grew up in a very small county and kind of saw the same people all of my life. And it wasn't until I went to college that I met someone who wasn't, either Christian or not or non-religious. Like, that was the first time when I went to college. So, but my first time I really got out of my shell and started talking to people was my first job when I was 16. I used to be a very shy person, and I am not anymore. And I think a lot of it has to do with working when I was 16, and I was a waitress, so I had to be outgoing. They may have different values and hold different opinions from you from what you're used to. So cultivate good working relationships, keep an open mind, listen to what others have to say. You may learn something new and interesting. Alright, so getting off on the right foot, there are things you can do for a good start at your new job. For example, introduce yourself to everyone you meet, and remember their names and positions. Treat everyone with respect, regardless of their position in the company. Be willing to pitch in if your coworkers are swamped, even if it isn't part of your regular duties, while keeping up with your own responsibilities. There are also things you should not do if you want to get along with others. For example, stay away from workplace debates on personal and controversial topics. Don't engage in any political or religious conversations. It's best for everybody. You have a right to keep your views private, and it is best to do so. Also avoid gossip or anything gripping. If someone starts complaining about a coworker or the company in your presence, excuse yourself politely and walk away. And of course, don't gossip yourself. That is a very, very good rule for us all to have and to remember when working with others. In many jobs, you will work as part of a team. Your success and your reputation will depend on your ability to work well with your teammates. When you are new to a job, it is especially important to listen to your more experienced coworkers. When you're ready to put in your own contribution, make sure it's positive. If you have an issue with a task or have identified a potential problem, try to think of a few solutions before you speak up. So be sure you're willing to work as a team. Communication and compromise are two key aspects of working on a team. If you find yourself having a conflict with a coworker, handle it gently and calmly. In other words, communicate. Talk to the person first in a non-confrontational manner. So be sure when you talk to the person, you're not being blaming. You're trying to ensure that let the person know that you're trying to work through this problem with them. Keep it positive. It's quite possible you can smooth things over without taking it any further than that. But if that doesn't resolve the problem, talk to your supervisor. Be sure to remain professional. Do not make a conflict personal. In other words, leave your personal stuff at the door of your work. Pick it back up when you leave. Unless... Oh, goodness, guys. Why did I do this? Alright. Unless you're self-employed, you will need to learn how to deal with a supervisor or a boss, which can be hard sometimes, guys. Bosses can be a positive influence. They can be mentors by teaching you and supporting you in achieving your goals. I've had some amazing bosses, but sometimes you can butt heads with them and not really understand, and some bosses can be difficult that way. So here's some tips for how to be successful with any boss. So even if if it's a boss you're having trouble with or one you like a lot, show respect. Just be sure to show respect and you'll likely be given respect in return. Pay attention to instructions and follow your boss's directions. Know what's expected of you. Turn in your work on time. If you find yourself falling behind, let your boss know well ahead of deadline. Stand up for yourself and don't lose your temper. Always communicate in a mature and professional way. Keep your work and personal life separate. Don't expect your supervisor to be your buddy or act like a surrogate parent. That's important. Don't expect them to be your buddy. Expect appropriate behavior, comments, and treatment in the workplace. If you feel your boss has acted unprofessionally, tell your parents or talk to someone in the company, such as the human resources representative. That can happen too. If you're in a job with a company that provides goods or services to the public, you'll be dealing with customers and clients. All right, and I've always ever been a server and a teacher, so I'm always ever dealing with the customers or clients or people. Treat your clients and customers just as you would be treated in a place of business, with professionalism, respect, and courtesy. So that's what you would expect someone to treat you like. You need to treat others like that too. Maintain professional boundaries. Be honest. If you don't know the answer to a question, explain that you are new. Say that you want to make sure you give the correct information, and then ask someone else to help. Customers will appreciate your honesty, and you'll also have the chance to learn at the same time. As a teacher, I've had so many older and experienced teachers tell me, never admit to the students that you were wrong. And I do that. I admit that I'm wrong all the time because I'm not perfect. and I will tell you, hey, I messed up. I was wrong. So you should be able to say that, and you should expect others to be able to do that as well. So you should do that. If you don't know the answer, say, you know what, I'm not really sure of that answer. I will go find out. Something like that. Maybe you see this job as the first step on your career path, or maybe it's a temporary stop before high school and college. Either way, you will be acquiring new skills and establishing a network of professional contacts. You also will make an impression on everyone around you with your words, actions, performance, and appearance. What kind of reputation do you want to create with your coworkers and supervisors? Being known as a resourceful employee and someone who can be counted on in a pinch is much better than being known as a slacker or a troublemaker. Remember, at some point in the future, you may be asking a coworker or supervisor from your current workplace for a professional or personal reference.